You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
All right. Welcome to actually the show that almost didn't happen because I almost wasn't going to come in today.
Well, just because you weren't here doesn't mean we weren't going to do the show.
Well, yeah, but now this specific show with me in the room is happening. And that you know.
That doesn't make it better.
Well, I think it does. But you know, personally,
no.
because, you know, I don't listen to it when I'm not on.
What?
I'm just
whatever.
I'm just
You didn't listen when Rob Corey and I went at it.
Yeah. When you say that, it sounds sexual.
It probably was a little bit in his
it?
mind. I'm sure it's Rob Corey. I'm sure that's the whole time he was thinking, like, how many inappropriate things can I get away with subtly?
But you know, I'm going to talk about me for a moment because you know what.
Why are you talking about you for a moment?
Well, because I've been running around like crazy. And the reason why I almost didn't come to the show, I called you earlier today and was like, look, I have too many loose ends to tie up here for the THC awards party happening on Saturday, this Saturday, November 2nd.
This Saturday, November 2nd.
This Saturday, November 2nd. And, you know, I've been going around, grabbing my comp tickets for all my entries, talking to everybody.
I have a comp ticket, right?
Maybe. Mm-hmm. You got your votes in on time as a judge, so you actually do get a comp ticket.
Oh, burn.
Yeah. But
well, looking at you,
all my judges do it. And you get all these cool stuff here. I mean,
I know that hat is dope.
I just picked this up today.
Hat is amazing.
So nobody else has seen this hat yet. This is our custom design hemp hat from Grassroots, California. I mean, we got like the pimp ass lining of all of our logo up on there, and also on the inside of the bill we did the silver. This is like your flat billed hat when you want to go formal.
Yeah.
That was the idea. And then, you know, all of our judges are also getting the jars with our Mr. Monocle Man logo on it, which I decided we have to name Mr. Monocle Man. Monocle Man doesn't work for me anymore. We have to call him something. So we might do a contest for what should Monocle Man's name be?
I can come up with the best name, I bet.
Really?
I'm so creative. Look at this.
Yeah, what is that about again?
I'm a twerkicorn.
A twerkicorn.
Yes, it's a unicorn that twerks.
So so
it's a corn that twerks.
I was already reprimanded for not being up on pop culture.
Yeah.
But what is twerking?
Twerking is what those millennials and the younger people like to call what we used to call back in our day for the olds. We used to call it booty shaking. If you're an old like me.
Twerking does not sound good, though. Like, I mean, I would rather booty shake or see somebody booty shake than twerking. To me, twerking feels like there's some kind of an overdose of a certain drug or something, you know, or it's like, yeah, it tells me if you are booty shaking, you're doing it without rhythm.
Overdose. It's an overdose of dancing drug.
It's an overdose of dancing
drug. The drug of dance.
Yes.
The drug of awesome.
But twerking means, to me, it's like if somebody's on the dance floor twerking, I'm thinking they can't dance. I'm like, look at that dude just twerking away over there. It doesn't work for me.
It's just the new freaking grinding, you know, booty shaking, like, you know, as Juvenile used to say, back that ass up. You know,
back
it's
that
just
ass up. And back in our day, we were like joking, like called it the lambada.
What?
Yeah, I know.
That's how old I am.
You? I know. That's how old I am.
Were you born in like the 50s?
Dance. Exactly. I was not born in the 50s. No. Might as well have been.
Were you like? Did you wear poodle skirts too?
No, but I grew up on 50s music because my grandmother always played 50s music. I'm rambling, by the way, because I have to say, all right. So today today was kind of a fun day for me. I'm going around just giving tickets to my entries, and every single one of them is like, "Did you do the votes yet? Did you do the votes? Do you know who won? Do you know who won?"
Let me tell you something.
I'm like,
hybrid number 5. I'm just gonna go out there.
Hybrid number 5.
Hybrid.
You want to know what hybrid number 5 was?
Yeah, I would love to because I'll
tell you. I can release it now.
I was.
I'm going to be releasing this anyway.
Doing some co-tests as well. You know, it wasn't just me being a judge, but after I would judge initially, then I would ask some friends.
5. No. There were some people that did that. Some people were collective voters, like they were the judge, but they said, you know, in their comments, they were like, "Well, I had like a panel of people." That one of my connoisseur judges did this, Bubba out there. It was awesome. He actually had a panel of former High Times judges from High Times Cutback in Amsterdam and stuff like that, and like had them judge on appearance and smell. So, and then they showed a collective scoring that they came up with to get to the average of what they had to score on our sheet, which was kind of a cool idea. And then because you know the connoisseurs judges
so much more scientific than the way I did it.
Yeah, I know. I looked at your votes.
What? They wrote it down. I had a booklet. Don't get me wrong.
No. I believe you.
I just didn't think the comments. I'm like, fuck it, unless it like was something that was really stellar.
Well,
that's when I put my comments
All
down.
I'll say is some of my judges put more comments in and more effort than others.
Whoa, the effort was there. I took my samples to the DPA conference.
H5 you wanted to know?
International people.
H5, right?
Yeah.
That HY5 was Kill Shot from the Canna Center down in Colorado Springs. Yeah. No, here's the thing I will say. Last year was super close.
Hybrid 8 was good too. What was Hybrid 8?
Oh, now you're going to want to get everything
I just want
out
to
there.
know. It was a good
Hybrid
one as
8.
well.
And hey, if you guys have any of my judges are on there, go on the comment line and ask which a specific one is. You can. I'm going to be releasing all this information tomorrow, but if you just can't wait to find out which one your favorite strain was that you tried, you just got to let me know. And I will take a look. So let's see here. Hold on a second. Hybrid 8.
12?
My phone doesn't want to do this for me
25?
here.
25 what? No, there wasn't a number 25.
There was not a number 25. You're just making stuff up now. Hybrid 8. Oh, but anyway, I was trying to tell you about my day because I've been running around talking to all the contestants.
Yeah.
And my friends over at Medically Correct. Hybrid 8 biodiesel from Denver Relief.
Oh, shit. That was my number 2 pick.
And the biodiesel is always a consistently good shower. That really is. They won the Harvest Cup in the past for it, and but so I'm at one of my friends talking to my friends Rick, Tom, and Yvonne over at Medically Correct. They're the makers of all the Incredibles bars, and they have a product on the works they are infusing hemp CBD into. And he's like, "Hey, try this." And like the backstory, I putting in all the data for this championship is actually a gargantuan task. It actually I spent. What day is today? Thursday? Wednesday? I did not go to sleep on Tuesday night so I could have, because I have other things I got to do, but I didn't go to sleep, and I actually was up for all 14 hours through the night, and when the sun came up from when it went down to when it came up, basically, putting in all the data for all the votes and all the judges to make sure I got it all in time so that we could get it out to our printer for the magazine, because it'll be in the magazine, the next issue of the magazine with all the announcements. So I was like sore as hell, just feeling like crap. I slept like last night, obviously. But my friend Rick gave me one of these to try out, which is very high in CBD, so super functional. And I have to say that this has become, this edible, one of the best highs ever.
Oh, yeah?
No, seriously.
Good. Yeah, I don't really like edible high. I'm sure a lot of people will, unless it has CBD. You get too much that THC, I get very, paranoid and... it just, I don't know.
It's not going anywhere. You can't, just get rid of it.
Yeah. One of the hardest times I swear I ever tripped was on an edible.
Yeah, mine as well.
I know that's crazy, but it's it's true. It's true.
No, it is. But, this, what was great about this CBD is it did have THC in it, and it's obviously made me very talkative today.
Oh, is this still a side effect of what's
This is
going
definitely
on?
a side effect, absolutely. I mean, but I've had super high energy all day, and I'm like, that's why I was like, at first, before I had taken it, I was like, I'm not going to make it to the radio show. I called Sam. I'm like, Sam, it's going to have to be the Sam and Sam show. I'm not going to make it because I get too much shit going on.
It's supposed to be the Sam and Joe show. I don't know where that little Mary is.
Yeah, what the hell happened to that?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, well, so you get. You don't trust a Republican.
I know. Let's talk shit about Republicans right
We
now.
should totally talk shit about Republicans right now.
Actually, let me tell you something. So, we have the DPA conference this week. I tried to get David to come.
I did come.
You
missed me.
I let you drop your magazines off
did.
at our table.
I did drop them off.
Did you bring CEDs? Did you bring any of the cannabis
No, I didn't bring any
drinks?
cannabis energy drink.
I was
no.
hoping, man. Those things would have flown off the shelves.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Well,
Well,
cannabis
what?
energy is they're doing all right though. I mean, they're out there. I mean,
All right. Anyways,
but I didn't have any a chance to go pick any of those up.
so we had the DPA conference, and one of the panels that they had on Saturday was how state legislators are working with marijuana reform. And two of the Colorado senators that were on it were Pat Stedman, who's always been an amazing advocate, for marijuana and hemp issues. And the other one was a surprise when I first read his name, is Senator Larry Crowder, Republican out of Alamosa.
Wow.
And
Is this a big shift for him?
Senator
Larry?
Well, yeah. Well, he's always been. I mean, he's a great. First of all, I call him Grandpa Crowder because he's so sweet. You just want him to be your grandpa. Like he's just the nicest legislator you could work with. And he, at first he was definitely, when I first got to know him through, legislatively speaking, it was through our hemp bill. Mm-hmm. And he was a huge supporter of it. He loved hearing all about it. He had never really heard about it before. And then when I started talking to him, because at first he thought I was just talking about marijuana, because he comes from that time when hemp was interchangeable with marijuana. Right. And we were first talking, and I put my bag up, my purse. I had a hemp hood lamb, one of their gray purses with the sativa on the inside. And I go, well, this is made of hemp. And he's like, are you shitting me? No. And he just thought my purse. So every time we had to go, and he was our co-sponsor, one of our Senate sponsors in the House. I had when we did this bill, the hemp bill, we had a Republican and Democrat senator on both sides as the prime sponsors in both houses. So that was great. It was Larry Crowder and Gail Schwartz in the Senate, and it was Representative Randy Fisher and Don Coram in the House. Cool. So every time he would bring it into committee, he'd look at me and go, Sam, did you bring that purse? Little young lady, did you bring your purse? Because he just thought it was amazing that you could turn this something that people think is marijuana into fabric.
But see, I love that, there's that discovery still for some people out there.
Yeah.
Like for you and I, if somebody comes up with a new thing that hemp does, aren't you kind of like, that's really cool, but of course it does that. Well, I'm kind of I'm not as surprised anymore when somebody says hemp does this, hemp does that. But there are people out there that's like a whole new world to learn about.
All it does is just remind me that education works. That's all it does. It reminds me that education works. And now you had somebody who was very, trepidatious about doing any kind of marijuana stuff. And I'm sure he voted no on some of the marijuana bills just because, or just kind of what Republican social conservatives do. But to have him on that panel, and he was speaking so favorably of it, and he really understood what was going on. And that just is more proof that education works. And that's something that we have to continue to do every day. Even when you get, and until everyone is educated, that's when we can start to make real change happen. Get the laws, get the taxes lowered.
You're right.
Get the regulations loosened up a little bit,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think putting hemp in a bill via Healing Homes, maybe in the legislation, to make sure that all damaged houses have to be rebuilt with hemp would be a great area to go into.
Oh yes, I just met with Gail Schwartz today, and so that is something that I'm talking about legislative agendas, and so that's something I'm working with. I want to actually reach out to some of Colorado Housing Authority since they work with charity a lot, and working with the state on that kind of a thing for housing. So that's what we're going to be doing.
All right. Well, we have to go to break.
Yeah.
And
then we can talk national politics.
Yeah, we've actually already skipped an entire break. We're already 10 minutes behind on going to this break. So maybe should we make it just a double long break apologize for everybody? Should we do that?
Sure.
Yeah. No, okay. We'll do it a break and a half. Let's not make it too long.
Okay.
They'll miss us.
Whatever you say, stoner.
I know.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com. Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
Call Cannoisseur at 1-800-420-5757 for all your insurance needs. Cannoisseur understands the risks you face each day, and we are there to protect your business and your investment. Since 2010, Cannoisseur has been serving the cannabis industry nationwide. Call Cannoisseur at 1-800-420-5757 or visit us on the web at cannoisseur.com to learn more about our insurance and risk management services. Proud member of the NCIA.
Cannapunch is a delicious and effective medical marijuana beverage proudly made right here in Colorado. Each bottle is freshly infused with 100% pure flower extract from the highest grade marijuana plants available today. Using proprietary extraction methods, every bottle of Cannapunch is consistently and reliably infused with an exact milligram dosage that you can count on to relieve your symptoms each and every time. Cannapunch is delicious. There's never any medicine-y taste. We use only 100% cannabis flowers. No trim or byproducts are ever used in Cannapunch. It does not require refrigeration and comes in convenient, resealable multi-dose bottles from 60 milligrams to 200 milligrams. We have drinks with dosage that works best for you. Cannapunch is available in a variety of delicious flavors like black cherry, watermelon, pineapple mango, and blue raspberry. And we now have strain-specific beverages available just for you. Cannapunch is delicious, convenient, consistent, and effective. Give it a try and experience the Cannapunch difference.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
All right, we're back. And like I said, I wasn't really planned for today, so I'm going to let Samantha tell us what we're talking about today.
Oh, sure. Well, we could talk about, obviously, the most exciting thing that came out. Dun, da, da, the new Gallup poll came out, and 58% of Americans are in favor of legalizing marijuana. And not just like, the medicinal or decriminalization, like full-out legalization. Like, let's buy it, let's sell it, Let's turn it into a business, y'all. Let's turn it into something that we can do something with.
I thought you were going to say that the biggest thing coming out was that we could use iPads on the airplanes now, which that's nonstop. All I've been hearing on NPR and other radio stations.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's the big news, really?
Fucking NPR.
I was like, really? I didn't even know I couldn't use my iPad. I've always been using it anyway. Didn't you? I mean, I use it on the airplane. I didn't know I couldn't.
I don't know. I once took a flight back from Vegas, and they had to remind everyone like 7 times when we were taking off to turn off their electronics. Yeah. And but it was also a really janky ass Spirit airline, which don't ever take Spirit.
Oh no, Spirit is awful.
Oh my god,
really bad.
It was scary. I thought I was gonna die, and they lost my luggage. Those fuckers.
Yeah, that's not a big surprise.
But I got it back. In case anyone was nervous out there in internet land, I got my luggage back. But it had
it's called Spirit Airline because they drain your spirit when you travel with them.
I think a little bit of my soul left that day. I made this costume myself,
I know. You're very proud of this costume. It's very cute.
It is super cute. Should I show it off for the radio folks?
Sure. You're going to tweak? No, not tweak. Twerk?
Twerk. No, I would never tweak.
That's the problem. It's too close to tweaking. That's the thing. Twerking doesn't work.
Twerk-a-corn. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh,
homemade, y'all. Homemade.
Somebody has way too much time on their hands right now.
No, it took me like 2 hours last night.
Oh, you did that in one night? That is impressive. I am impressed.
I am the Martha Stewart of last-minute Halloween costumes. You have no idea.
I've already had to do costumes like twice now this month, so I'm not doing a costume today. I'm going to be ironically uncostumed.
Not very ironic, considering all 3 of you mofos are uncostumed right now.
Well, yeah, that is true. But like I said, I've been costumed twice already.
Not ironic, it's lazy.
Oh, you can call it lazy.
Yeah.
And you'd be right.
Atlantis. Are you from Canada? You don't even know the right meaning of ironic.
I do, actually.
Do you? What is it?
It is when something is true even though it appears like it shouldn't be.
That doesn't sound right. The opposite of its intended meaning.
Yeah,
that's
the other way to put it. Yeah.
It's the fucking Oxford English way to put it.
Okay.
Whatever. Anyway, so that wasn't the biggest.
We're in America, though.
We also had where we speak English. Remember, press 1 for English. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we also had the Drug Policy Alliance conference was here in Denver this weekend, which was a lot going on.
Yeah, and the Champ Show was here as well. We talked a little bit about that last week because you weren't here because you were at the Drug Policy Alliance.
I was. I had clients in town. I had a lot of my international people in town, and it was just meetings all day long. And I actually missed out on a lot of the shows that I would like to do or like to attended. But I got a good one. I got into one I saw with which was marijuana legalization. What's next?
And what is next?
Maine obviously has an issue coming up this November. Now they're looking at Texas, Alaska, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada. These are not just medicinal. We're talking.
No, they're talking about full-on legalization. Well, here, I mean, and that's the thing that's going to happen. It's really exciting because we're the first, and it's going to be really cool for like the next 3 to 4 years probably because nobody else is going to be in the position to do it yet. But at some point, when we just legalize it, it's like we're not going to be, the Amsterdam of the country anymore because the whole country is going to allow it, or at least the majority of the country.
We still will, though. I still think it'll be a niche destination.
Will we be like the New Orleans of marijuana?
I think we will be. I think because we're going to have a heads up on.
There's Joe.
Oh, look at who decided to show up.
Yeah. Wow.
You would be worried. I thought you were in an accident or something.
Well, the thing is, he's under contract and he can only perform for a half an hour, so that's why he showed up.
You gotta talk to my agent.
I know.
Oh, yes, his agent. He has to do the most important thing, which is plug the phone in.
I know. Wait a minute. There's a mic in front of you. He's like, no, let me ignore the mic. I know we're on the radio and all, but let's plug the phone in.
We were just talking about what's going to happen on a national level next with marijuana legalization. Do you know what I was mentioned in Arizona, Texas, New Mexico?
Well, they just filed papers in Oregon, actually. For a very good initiative there. So we'll see. They're going to go for 14. Conventional wisdom after the victories in Colorado and Washington is to go on into a presidential year, but they are so confident in their polling in Oregon that they've decided to go for it in next year. So that's very exciting.
That is exciting.
Another thing we were saying is when the rest of the country finally comes on board, even though they're late, does this make us obsolete? Are we no longer special, or do we capture on this? Do we become a Napa Valley of marijuana?
I think that's the key. I mean, we really have to develop some sort of infrastructure here to make sure that Colorado maintains its place in the marijuana world.
I think we also right now, the way it's written, is anybody else doing an amendment to their constitution to legalize? Or are they just doing bills to legalize it?
Oregon is going to the citizens, but it's going to be statutory as far as I know, so it's not going to be in the Constitution.
Right. So I think that's where we have that leg up, is there's just more protection for our citizens
right now. And I think we're naturally like tourist destination. We're a natural tourist destination.
Oh, yeah.
We have the skiing and we have the beer. Like people come
it's
here
really
for the
hard
craft
to take her
brews.
seriously in that, isn't it?
What?
I love it. I love
You can't take me seriously in this? Yes.
The twerk.
Of course, gays love unicorns.
It's a gay rhino, just like me.
That's what I see. She said Joe was coming on. I was like, no, absolutely not. Being a gay rhino is an oxymoron, and no oxymorons on our show.
No, but I think, and the fact that Colorado has such a robust medical marijuana infrastructure already gives us a leg up. But I think what's really going to be, from a purely business industrial standpoint, is going to be when California and New York come on. There's going to be such an access to capital there that we are really going to benefit from being just that, Napa Valley.
Right.
We're not going to be the centers of Big Pot. We're going to be where you come to find the best pot.
Right, right. Do you think it's it's helping us, or it's a downfall that we're not allowing outside investors to come into Colorado? I mean, I get one aspect has got this isolationist kind of look, like, no, we're going to keep keep it in Colorado, but then we're also not allowing outside money into Colorado to help it out.
It's sort of funny. You have this dichotomy, this interesting paradigm that's going on in the marijuana community, and one of it is, we want to keep it small by the people. They want to keep big money out, but at the same time, those are the people that also think there's too much regulation, it's too restrictive. Well, that's part of the restrictive regulation, is that, we've prohibited outside capital from coming in. And then you have this other side that wants to be able to take advantage, and, they want to come in and make the most that they can out of this opportunity, but they also don't really understand the community and the people. So I don't know. I think it's, it just suck because there are people who want, access to that money in order to expand. But I think that if you're a smart investor and you run a smart business, the access to capital shouldn't be too much of a problem. But obviously, we're going to want that to open up once these other states come online, because then it becomes a really big competition. And you really do want to keep, I think, the game honest. But even the honest players are going to need money. They are.
Well, I think now we are going to start seeing more of a realm of politicians that are going to have to do something about their view. I mean, perfect example, Obama now is at the lowest job performance rating that he's ever been at. I believe he's at what is it? It's below 50%.
Yeah, it's below 50.
And so marijuana is more popular than the president. More than the Congress, which is not a surprise.
Way more than the Congress.
Way more than Congress. Not a big surprise there. But I mean, because Congress is usually not popular at all anyway.
Yeah, but a lot of the polling on the approval ratings of Congress is like a little flawed because you ask them people if they like Congress, they say no way. But do you like your congressman?
Oh, sure. Everybody, I love my congressman.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you can't admit your congressman is part of the problem.
Right.
Or they're just not educated and they don't know.
Well.
What's the most biggest? Yeah.
So you're either in denial or you're ignorant. Is that
Yes.
the idea? If you approve of Congress, you're in denial or you're ignorant.
Or you live in Jared Polis's district.
Or you live in Jared Polis's district. That's funny.
Yes, I'm very good.
Yeah. But Ted Cruz is. I actually cruised Ted Cruz's Facebook page after they passed. The shutdown of the government, basically.
Well, even real Republicans like Joe can't stand it.
I couldn't believe the ignorance of people on his page. It all was because one of my friends actually posted a response to Ted Cruz that was actually highly eloquent and done very well, and it was like a great argument. And then the next person's just like, "Fuck you, you fucking liberal," and that was it. That was the response that person had from that person, and it was like, dude, I mean, this guy's trying to actually have an intelligent debate. I mean, you can't do that because you're doing it on Facebook. But at least he put in his side of things, and those are the responses that he was getting. And so how do you have respect for somebody whose base are just a bunch of morons?
Yeah, but you could say the same. I know Joe's going to say it. You can say the same about liberals. There's people on the left that are just...
Oh, no, but I wouldn't say the Republican people who vote Republican are morons. I wouldn't say that.
You say that they've got a bad base, yeah.
I would say that you're looking at a majority of people that get into that public forum, whether it be liberal or Republican, honestly, that don't know what they're talking about.
I think what you're talking about, too, is sort of this double-edged sword that we have with social media, too. Like, on one hand, I think social media is, like, vastly important to what we're doing with marijuana advocacy. The marijuana movement. It's huge for us to organize. But on the flip side, it allows people to be, get in these echo chambers, and you get people, low information folks in these echo chambers, and they're spouting off on each other, and they think they're correct.
Well, because there's people confirming, yeah, you're correct.
And if somebody
right.
You get one or two people who try to even venture into that, and it becomes like a big pile on. There's no real exchange of ideas. I try not to argue.
But search engines, because search engines are, I appreciate the fact that search engines now recognize when I go on. I appreciate the technology that goes, oh, well, David's on the search, so I already know what he looks for. But if I type in green apple, I get cannabis stuff because they're used to me doing searches on news and everything when it comes to marijuana. So just using the word green will populate all marijuana on the search engine, which I'm not necessarily looking for.
You got to use a different search engine than Google.
Maybe. Oh, you think Bing doesn't do that?
Yeah, Bing's pretty bad too. You just got to go to like some kind of, I don't know, Ask Jeeves. One that doesn't track all your cookies
Ask
or
Jeeves.
something. What?
Is Ask Jeeves still around?
I know.
I think it is. I think I saw a television commercial for it.
But see, I imagine when somebody's going on Ask Jeeves, there's literally like an old dude on the other side of the computer, and he goes, "Oh, you need me to find this? Okay." And then he goes and reaches for a dusty old book to find what he's looking for. And
that's how Cha-Cha works.
Yeah, is that how Cha-Cha works?
Used to work
I remember Cha-Cha. You could ask Cha-Cha anything on the phone. You call Cha-Cha and be like, "Cha-Cha, tell me the answer to this." You could text it.
We used to text it all the time. This is, I think, before people had smartphones.
Yes, it was.
So prevalently.
No, because it was very cool.
Yeah, because you couldn't just Google. Now you can just Google the answer. But like we would Cha-Cha everything. What's the answer to this? I don't know. Cha-Cha it. Like I think one of the questions like we once asked is like how much it would cost to like ship a car from like the United States to Australia. Personally, I know that's totally random, but it just sticks out on my head for some reason. And lo and behold, like a minute later, we got our answer.
No, that's what I loved about it. I actually like the idea of Cha-Cha way better than Google. Because, I mean, like, yes, there are certain things you can search and find it pretty quickly. But Cha-Cha, you're right. You could be so specific. And somebody would be on the other line like, look at this random question. And they'd look at, like, I would picture them looking at it like a challenge.
To end around the NSA, too.
Yeah, it's an end around the NSA.
It's not them searching, how do I avoid paying my taxes? And
how do I avoid paying my taxes?
Setting up a tax shelter in the Cayman Islands. That's not me asking. That's Cha-Cha.
That's funny. That's interesting. That's a way. There you go.
Does it even still exist anymore?
I don't think it does.
I bet it does. I bet it does.
You think it does?
Oh, for sure.
Somebody, hey, if anybody knows if Cha-Cha exists, please post it on the site.
Should we Google
Let us know.
if Cha-Cha still exists?
Has anybody been asked about strains on there either?
Did I just go really Inception on
and if anybody could explain why it's like 200 degrees in the studio right now, I'd like to know.
It's really hot right now.
I'm hot, and I'm wearing a hemp T-shirt. You're wearing footy pajamas, basically. And then we got Joe here who's got a dude, I would literally be dying right now if I was wearing as many layers as you
He's
are.
stripping.
But I'm not a big fan of the layer thing. I've tried doing the layer clothes. We have the collared shirt and then the sweater over it, and I can't do it.
It's too much, huh?
It's too much. Well, I also have a layer of hair.
Yeah,
and
he's
fur.
hairy. David's hairy.
Yeah, so I've been wearing layers forever.
My mic keeps slipping. There it is. I just did it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So it's Halloween. Would you guys talk about Halloween earlier?
No, except for that all of you mofos are too pussy to dress up.
No, hey.
This is your high holy day, dude.
I know. I got it. My costumes, I got it at home.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a great deal of prep and getting it ready. And
I became the costume guru today. Sean Hauser, bless her heart, she's a lawyer at Vicente Cedarburg. She's works awesome. Really, really hard. This great. Girl works like 24 hours a day. She was one of the ones that was a big fan of Hybrid Number 5.
Was she? Yeah, yes. She actually did a little column for us once on the Hemp Connoisseur in our earlier days. One of I think our third issue she did, and she did a little bit of legal work for us. She's awesome. She's
amazing. So she's barely had time to go get her a costume, so I said I'll take care of it for you today. And
I should have called you and had
while I was at the store, I got a text message from Josh Capel going, "Got any spare guy costumes hanging around?" Because I have a plethora of costumes at home.
What do you got?
So I've got witch, honey badger. Most of mine.
You have honey badger?
I made a honey badger like 3 years ago.
What does it look like though? Is it like what you're wearing now? Would it be all hot and everything?
So I bought this because this was like 2 or 3 years ago. So I got that furry hoodie things that were really in the animal ones, but I got a skunk one, And then I just wore like a cute black dress and I put like white fur on it, like just his, and I painted my face and I walked around with a snake in my mouth and I had a bag of yogurt covered raisins because those are the little maggots, that he's eating. So I was like, I get into Halloween. I know Christian's looking at me like, what, wow. Sam? I was like, no, I got yogurt colored raisins. I do everything. I am like in it to win it, y'all.
That's impressive.
Roller girl 1 year.
Where are you going for Halloween tonight?
Where are we going?
We're going to the Fillmore. We're going to see Carl Denson's Spooktacular.
Nice. Very nice.
Carl D. I haven't seen Carl Denson for about 10 years.
Right on.
Oh, yeah?
Right on.
That sounds like a stoner hippie thing.
It is a stoner hippie thing, We got to do it.
I gotcha. Well, yeah. I'll be guest bartending at Castleman's.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not doing. You know what? I did costume twice for them now. I've done Satan's Castle and Zombie Crawl for them in the past 2 weeks, and I'm just like, I don't really want to do it anymore. What?
I hear that the No on AA is having their party at Castleman.
They could be, actually. Is that what's going on tonight? I never keep that track.
No, it's
for the election
Tuesday
night on Tuesday.
Election night.
It's for a Tuesday night. I will not be working that party. I won't be. Not because it's the No on AA people. Whatever. Go ahead. But, I just, what I find funny
because they don't have money to tip. They don't have money to tip. Fund their campaign.
No.
They're not gonna have money to tip either.
Look, yeah, the No on AA thing. The No on AA thing is kind of funny because I hear a lot of people like, "Oh, I'm voting no." Look, if you're a general person in Colorado and you don't purchase cannabis, you're gonna vote yes on AA. Yeah. You're just gonna vote yes. So I mean, these guys who are opposed to it, I really feel like I'm kind of like. Oh, good for you for trying. It's kind of like, yeah, we're all winners, but it's not going to happen. Let's be honest. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's a good fight to have. This is something Joe and I
appreciate the fight.
Joe and I, we've talked about it. Joe and I have talked about it. It's important to have this discussion. Yeah. We should not. I don't think we should we're diving into a new frontier, and I don't think any cannabis laws that we talk about hemp laws should be considered without some sort of rigorous debate behind them, and I appreciate this debate. I really do.
Yeah. I do
but
too.
Having said that, look at my thing keeps just slowly going down.
You're talking to the wrong side.
It keeps falling down. That's not my fault.
I know.
So, anyways, but where have they been? They've kind of disappeared off the face of the earth.
I think that maybe they finally realized that it's just not going to happen. It's just but the thing about it is a lot of these no on AA people were the same people that were no on 64.
64, exactly right.
And it's but they're also the same people that were celebrating as soon as 64 passed.
Yeah.
And it's because the bill's not perfect people. That's what I call them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right.
You know, it's
the ideologues. They're ideologues.
And I appreciate it, but the bill's not going to be perfect. We got to go for another break. We don't even have any sponsors right now. What are we taking breaks for? Right? Do we have a sponsor right now? No. Okay.
No break.
No break then.
No break. Plus, Joe just got here. We want to talk to Joe. Joe, what's going on? What else is going on, marijuana? What was your fit? Did you go to any of the conferences at DPA?
I did. It was great. Did you guys talk about DPA last week?
No, I talked about Champs last week because I figured we
here.
would talk about DPA this week because Sam was there and I was at Champs.
Yeah, I was at the DPA for some of it. It's an amazing conference. I've never been to any sort of drug policy reform conference ever.
It was amazing that
it's really
everybody there was marijuana.
And then you got to meet all. It wasn't just marijuana. It was psychedelics. There was a heroin. There was a heroin form.
There was.
But I'm talking about it was like about responsible use or like mitigating. And it wasn't just pro. There was also like harm reduction.
But
there was safe access. Yeah.
But I'm talking about all the tables because I did go there.
Oh yeah.
But he also brings up the point that there is no real war on drugs without the war on marijuana. Once you eliminate the war on pot, the war on drugs is done. The percentages of people who use marijuana compared to prescription drugs or other harder drugs like cocaine or heroin are like huge. I mean, it's like something like 20-30% of the population uses marijuana, and then
it's like
less than a percent who uses.
The only one that was a percent, ironically enough, was prescription drugs. Prescription drugs.
Yeah.
And abuse of prescription drugs, not prescription
like
drugs.
Xanax and Oxycontin.
But it's interesting. I don't know if I talked about this before, but I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago when I was off, and I was talking to my mother about it in Massachusetts, and we were talking about it, and she's all for marijuana being legalized for medicinal purposes. And then she was like, I'm all against the recreational. And I was like, well, Ma, first of all, I'm like, you know what I do, and I'm like, and she totally supports it, but I was like, well, why? After all the education that we do, and you read the magazine, why would you still be against recreational? And she said, well, you show it differently, but every time I see it on TV, I see some young kids just smoking a lot of joints and just partying, and she's like, and I don't think it should be for partying, and I was like, so it's because it's called recreational. And if we change the name from recreational to adult use, you would have a different thought process behind it. And she's like, absolutely. And as soon as she said that adult use, she's like, oh, well, then you're saying, yeah, I'm trusting it to adults, and they're not kids, and they're, but that the media shows it as still a party kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, that's one of the things we have to work on our messaging. I think adult use, I try to say adult use every time, or retail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Also, just around the image too. The marijuana users and the marijuana industry, I think, is viewed by a lot of people in the general public as still being stoners, hippies, burnouts, whatever. And there's still not that equation that's being made that not everyone who drinks alcohol is considered a drunk or you know.
But you have like the Coors Light or the Bud Light commercials, and it's always like a big party. The football commercials, it's always a big party. But I think if marijuana could be smarter about their approach, a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more connoisseur-esque. Yes, indeed.
But that was one of the reasons why we formed the magazine in the first place, and I've talked about this before, was to elevate the image of the cannabis industry. And that's why we're doing the Party on New Year's as a gala event where people are going to dress up and as a fundraiser to show, look, the marijuana industry is a valuable member of the working community now, of society. And then you have, and the fact that we're raising money for local community. I mean, that's the idea, is cementing us in as a valuable commodity for people to have around.
Indeed.
And to respect. That's why it shouldn't be a party of just people dabbing and getting high like crazy. It's like, let's show a different side of the marijuana industry. There are professionals.
Which I think that's actually a good thing that medical did come first, because
it is.
It was about using the plant for what, it's intended. Its intended purposes. Originally you had like religious reasons, and then you had the medicinal, and now you have the adult use. But I think I don't think the medical market will ever go away. Mm-hmm. I think it's here to stay. I know a lot of people worry about that, but I think what you'll see in a medical market, you'll see become like a connoisseur market. You're going to have higher grade things. You're going to have more personalized, strains for people. So the medical market's always going to be there,
and it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah,
that's the thing that's funny about it.
The price is going to bottom out.
It's going to be cheaper. You're going to pay more for probably substandard product on the retail market than you will in the medical market.
Yeah, well, that's actually one of the things Rob Campia brought up in what's next for marijuana policy on the national level in that forum, and it was it's a very real concern that the price is going to drop out. Or if it is, or not drop out, the price is going to completely drop. But
here's the thing: there's going to have to be a scale. Look, just like when you go into the liquor store and you buy Well whatever name it might be, the pop.
Crystal Palace,
Yeah,
y'all.
you buy like De Kuyper products, and you get the De Kuyper Amaretto instead of Amaretto de Sorno.
I was a big fan of Admiral Nelson's
25% of the
spice
price of like the premium alcohol. So are you willing to pay the money for the small batch product?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the key.
I think they will.
I will.
Yeah, absolutely. And who knows? Maybe we'll see a day when insurance providers will pay for patients' marijuana.
Well, they're looking at doing. Here's weird. In New York City, they're actually looking at that.
They should.
That's great. That's great.
But they have, So that's interesting to me. I just found that out about a week or so ago. My friends from Veteran for Alternative Care let me know about that.
Do you think Obamacare would pay for it?
I don't know.
They ever get their shit together?
Can we just call it the Affordable Care Act? I'm tired of it.
I like Obamacare. I saw one of my friends went as Obama Care Bear for Halloween.
Did you see the Jimmy Kimmel thing where he went around interviewing people on the street?
Oh, yes, and they knew when they preferred.
Which you prefer, the Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act? And everybody was like, "Oh, Obamacare is terrible," but the Affordable Care Act, that's much better, Bill. It's like it's the same.
Good job
bill.
on messaging, Republicans. Good job.
No, it is. That's the thing. The messaging machine is great. It really is.
He acts all shit.
Well, it just has his name on it. He should be proud, right? Why is it?
He was proud. That's why they started calling it Obamacare. The Democrats.
They did. They took ownership of it. I just think it's a mistake. I think it should just keep. The Affordable Care Act does sound more inviting.
Whatever. Obamacare. I want some O-Care. I want some O-Care for my au pair. That made no sense.
No, it really didn't.
It didn't.
Really didn't.
Whatever.
Well,
Mr.
this
Babblefest over here.
I have been
because I had
babbling.
an amazing edible. You've been making 0 sense this whole time.
Have I really?
Yeah. We've all been sitting here wondering.
Good.
I know. See, I'm looking at Joe for answers because I can't take twerker seriously over here.
That was offensive. That's our language. That's our word. You can't use that word.
What twerker? That's your word. What word can I use? Can I use like rhythmically challenged?
No. I would say a booty shaking American. That's what we prefer.
A booty shaking
Twerker is our word. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Booty shaking American. Look, I think if you guys want to have a good time and you're in Colorado, you need to come down to Castleman's on Saturday and shake your booty to some good local reggae. And Select Nick T is going to be spinning as well, some reggae. It's going to be fun. And more
importantly, is it going to be costume party?
No, I don't care if you wear a costume, but we're not telling people to wear a costume. I mean,
I'm gonna dress really fancy with pearls. And shit.
We just decided to do a good old party. I do have one. We have 2 good local bands. We have a good, kind of we have a great DJ, like and then I have I forget her last name, but Miss Leanne is amazing. One of those ribbon dancers that'll do the whole thing up and down like the.
Oh, that's fun to get stoned and watch.
It's really fun to get stoned and watch. And she was on the other.
You're coming, right?
It's Saturday night.
Yeah, you're coming.
This is Saturday night at Cal's, and look, it's an open bar for those of you out there who are drinkers, which many of you are not because you're in the cannabis
Joe and
world.
I are definitely drinkers.
Yes, you are. Yeah. If you're a twerker, you're probably a drinker. But yeah, it's an open bar. $35 at the door. About $33 if you pre-buy it at castlemans.com.
It's going to be a fun party, y'all.
It is going to be. You're going to find out who won the Hemp Connoisseur Championship in each category. The best overall champion as well. Last year it was a brownie.
Do they get what's their trophies? So whoever goes up.
The trophies, first place trophies get the Emerald Tower. We call it. It's this gorgeous crystal Emerald Tower that'll say the Hemp Connoisseur Championship. You got first place in what category you got first place in, and then there's, like I said, we have the best in show where I take the final scores from each category and first place from each category and see who had the highest overall score, and they're best in show and they become the Hemp Connoisseur champion.
Nice.
So Fantastic Brownie was a champion last year with an edible from the Growing Kitchen. And if you want to know who the champion is this year, you're just going to have to show up at Castleman's.
Look at these cool hats we got, Joe.
How many judges do you guys have?
We had about 100 judges.
Remember, Joe? You were a co-judge. Remember, Joe?
I do remember.
We had 25 total judges, including connoisseurs and patients in each category with 8 categories. And I did have some judges that judged more than one category. And then, of course, I have judges that didn't get their votes in on time.
Don't look at me. Look at that guy right there, pointing at him.
Mr. Chris.
Joe was actually a co-judge.
I did.
He tested.
Yeah. What did I like? We liked one of the sativas we did.
I also did sativas. The sativa 16 was good.
You didn't vote on that though, did you?
No, well, I couldn't find my book for that one.
But it was. Oh, really? I could have supplied you with one. I could have emailed you one.
No, I couldn't find it. I couldn't.
I could have emailed you one. Then you could have gotten your vote
No,
in.
my notes.
Oh, your notes. You couldn't find your actual notes?
I couldn't. I had it for the hybrid.
Sativa 16.
But I couldn't find it for
I can tell you who Sativa.
How many people are you expecting?
We're hoping to have about 500, 600 people there minimum.
Yeah, that's good.
We have quite a large amount of people on the guest list because every judge who got their votes in on time actually gets in for free.
Me, I get my votes in on time,
and also gets all these awesome gifts. So we have the new Hemp Connoisseur jar to store your bud that Chris is lovingly filled up. Yeah, you get.
See that.
This is actually for
I get one of those too.
You get that. I brought that in for you actually. And wow, yours comes with bud in it.
Do I get this inside of it too?
I don't know. I didn't put that in
Is
there.
that yours?
That's Chris's.
Mine.
And then you get this our new. We already talked about at the beginning of the show.
I ain't wearing
This
any
hat
underwear.
is made from hemp. This hat is made from hemp. It is. We had it designed by Grassroots California, and it has our monocle
And
logo.
these shirts.
And then these shirts. That's the girl's shirt, and then the guy's shirt is a little bit.
Also the guy's shirt.
Oh, that is the guy's shirt. There you go.
What do you think, Joe?
I like it a lot. The logo looks great.
Yeah. The idea was, look, it's all black. It's going to be formal. So I was like, you wear jeans, this hat, and that shirt, and a sports
Did you
coat,
get this
and you're
printed at
dressed up.
Did you get this printed at that place I told you to
Indie
get?
Ink. We went to Indie Ink.
Oh.
Yeah.
Remember
And they
that
did a
one?
great job.
Remember that one I told you these
There was one-
environment-friendly inks?
Yeah, what we found out was with the environment-friendly inks, and it's random that we didn't use this one, is only for the black because the logo is so big with the hat that it would have faded and it wouldn't have worked on a black shirt as much.
Really? Because I did my Lodo corporate massage on those, and it's never faded.
Not on a black shirt, though.
On a black shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the
Was
white
it-
ink.
Interesting. Well, then I need to talk to you more about that then because that was one downfall that we were told they couldn't do it on the black because it fades. It tended to go down.
Oh, weird. Well, they did it. I did it on
But
the
they did a
Hemp
good
Connoisseur
job.
shirts,
They
yeah.
did a good job. And then the girls' shirts are really cute. You have a girls' shirt. We did a
do.
little differently.
Should I get it?
We have the girls on the side. Sure, get it, twerker. I keep on to call you a tweaker.
I know, it's so mean.
You're halfway between a furry and a tweaker.
That's good.
Don't laugh at that,
sorry,
Joe.
Sorry.
He thought it was funny. That was funny. I know John's laughing at home about that one too. But yeah, there's the
so
girls'
cute.
shirts. Those
Super
are cute
cute.
too, right? We put Mr. Monocle Man on your hip that way instead. But so I mean, like all our judges, we hook them up. They don't just get medicine; they get all this fun stuff. And anytime we can, it's made from
I
hemp.
know, everyone thought I was the weed fairy because I'd carry my little bag around and I'd be like,
What do you want to try?
What do you guys wanna
it's
try?
amazing stuff.
awesome.
one of my
still
friends,
have,
he goes, Sam, you have the best job ever. I go, yeah,
yeah.
I love my job.
I still have a lot of spares because we always have spares from everything at home. And so I will be
Party at David's house. He lives in Edgewater.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not your for what? For
Yeah.
missing your judgeship.
I could actually pay you in hash for like the next 6 months with what I have right now. I probably could. Seriously, it's ridiculous. I have a lot of hash right now because I don't do a lot of hash personally. I like the flower. That's my preference.
Flower power.
But because of that, Chris actually benefits from all the freebies I get because I know he likes his. But yeah, it's going to be a fun party on Saturday. I know I've been rambling here.
I know. Gosh, David.
Joe
you're
came
taking
in
up
on
all
the
this
wrong. He
time.
came a half an hour late, and he's come in with me on like some kind of speed, some CBD speed where I'm not able to shut up.
Yeah. Now who's tweaking?
Well, I've got a good story about Chris, actually. Your engineer.
Oh, well, let's hear a good story about Chris for the last few minutes.
We
The
love
first
it.
time I met him, I was in this very studio with former Congressman Tom Tancredo.
This is by the way, Chris, our producer who never puts himself on camera. There he is, right
He's
there.
the one that we're all making all the.
Making fun
funny.
of. We're gonna turn the eye on Chris. Oh no, he's already taken it off. He's all shy.
And
Yeah,
we were
story.
in this very studio to record a radio ad with former Congressman Tom Tancredo, pro Amendment 64 radio ad. So we were here with Tom, and he had his NRA baseball hat on and his dog, and I was like, "This is so surreal to be in here with Tom Tancredo in the iCannabis radio studio recording a pro Amendment 64 radio ad." But that radio ad, I think, made a big difference. It was all conservative radio across the state, and he's a big name among a lot of conservatives, and I think it made a big difference. But that was the first time I met Chris.
That was the first.
Chris,
time
what were
you
your
met Chris.
impressions of the former congressman?
I thought it was cool.
He's a nice guy.
You thought he was cool.
Nice guy.
Yeah, you were probably all dabbed.
Is
out
he
at the
like
time,
all?
too. No. You were high as hell, weren't you?
Is he all
You're like, I
talk?
can't even remember him, to be honest.
Is he all
Yeah.
talk?
I'll talk with what?
You know, like
He's a teddy bear.
is he? But
a
I know.
teddy
We
bear.
also said bomb Mecca, and he's like the guy who like calls Obama like
Oh, that's
a
right.
Muslim,
He's the one
like-
who said bomb Mecca,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah.
So is he just like
What was the thing Ted Cruz said? Did you hear what Ted Cruz said today?
No, what did he say?
No, his dad. It was his dad.
Oh, it was Ted Cruz's dad?
His
Canadian, right?
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Who said, oh, no, he's the one who said Obama should go back to Chicago and then back to Kenya.
That's his dad.
Yes.
His dad's crazy. His dad actually spoke here in Colorado.
Ted Cruz the other day, I think yesterday or maybe it was today, it's like the 1-2 punch with the Cruz boys, I guess, said to somebody else, he's like, well, have you noticed that you haven't gotten as many Nigerian letters because they're all working on tech support for the website?
Oh my God.
My God, your party is terrible.
That's terrible, dude. It was something to that effect. I'm kind of paraphrasing from what I heard, but you got to look into it. It's like, it's so offensive. And of course, like the people of Nigeria are coming out like, you must apologize. It's like, come on, man. It's like, yeah, we haven't gotten as many Nigerian scam letters because they're all working on tech support.
Tell you what, like, I deplore the liberal outrage machine that usually comes out in full force when Republicans stick their foot in their mouth like that. But yeah, and he's got that coming for this.
Sometimes it's well deserved.
Well deserved.
Sometimes it's well deserved. I know it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen to politics here in the future.
What do you think's going to happen in the Senate? We got one vote.
I know.
The state Senate. It's
going to be very interesting to see what does happen. I mean, I imagine the Democrats will hang on to things, but there's going to be a lot of close votes.
Do you think we're not going to do a lot then, just because you don't have that strong majority? It's going to be a slow session.
I think it's going to be far less controversial issues this year than what we dealt with last year. Yes,
right. But I feel like with. I don't know. I think the Republicans have screwed themselves quite a bit lately.
No, it's bad.
It's bad. I mean, it's like literally, it's like shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, but not in Colorado.
There was all this talk after the last election about what they're going to do to change, and how they're going to reach new voters and all this.
And they've just
and there was a lot of talk, and then it's like, back to the same old.
And they still don't offer any ideas. No offense to your party. There's still no answers, even with the whole Affordable Care Act.
But I think it's become muscle memory.
There's
it's so automatic now. I think I don't think they realize they're doing it. It's like this junkie syndrome. And I can say it on both sides. No, it's on both sides. When it comes to talking points, not recognizing, hey, it's time to move away from just being a talking point and a talking head and actually be a thinking head again.
I mean that's you're exactly right. And I think the other side of the political spectrum too, Democrats are going to have some problems too. I mean there is a pushback on Obamacare. Obamacare is still very unpopular.
But here's
there's still a problem with people don't like
Joe,
big government. There's a problem with guns. A couple senators were recalled.
There's been no counter offer from Republicans, and one of the loudest critics.
No, I know.
We called him out. I shouldn't say we. You know what I'm talking about. Sean Mitchell was called out the other day, and his biggest thing he could come up with, and he's a pretty big thinker, crazy as he is, and I love him to death.
Smart guy.
Is charity. And if charity had worked, we wouldn't have seen the problems with the Great Depression. You wouldn't have seen the answer with the New Deal. So unless there's an answer.
Well, I think there's some interesting things I've been hearing on the sideline, and you could say this might be a conspiracy theorist thing. It may not be. But who's the tech company that built the damn website? To me, that's who you should be blaming. Or who hired them.
Can we not pretend that Facebook's never crashed, that Google's never had issues? I mean, come on, and at least Facebook had slow ramp ups for everything it's been doing. And yes, I understand that's a private industry, but all of a sudden you have this website that has to be large enough to handle 200 million customers, whereas Facebook, when it got up to 500 million, was still very had that slow ramp up. It was just a few people at a time, so they could slowly expand, they could slowly increase. But even with that, there's still glitches. It still goes down. So I mean, people who expect that, who don't understand technology, to me right now is the problem. Having said that, yes, they should have had their act together.
Oh no, they absolutely should have had their act together.
But part of the problem is the other part is that these states haven't set up their health exchanges. I can go to the Colorado one and be just fine. It's these states. The reason it's crashing is because there's all these states who were obstructionists and resistant and didn't do their part of the job.
But my thing is you're calling. I forget her name off the top of my head, but who's been
Kathleen Sebelius.
Thank you. Calling her up and being answer for this problem, and it's well, you're actually. She's not probably the person that I need to talk to. I want to talk to the head of the IT department that built the website. That's the person that I want to talk to. I mean, she's a person who hired them. So all she has to do is say, well, we hired somebody. They didn't do a good job. Blah, blah, blah. We messed up on the bad hiring job. Now let's talk to the people you hired. Let's talk to the company that actually built the website and find out what the hell they did wrong. Because if they, first of all, they sold us a bill of goods saying that we can do it. But why haven't they been brought up? Well, they're actually you find out that this company has contributed to both political parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. More for the Republicans, by the way. But so why isn't that being brought up? What's going on with that side of things?
You sound like a conspiracy theorist.
I told you it's kind of a conspiracy theory, but I mean, I've always been like, follow the money. Well, where did the money go? Who did they pay to do this job?
Cutting your edibles off.
But am I wrong in bringing
You're
this up?
not wrong, and I think
I mean, if you're a cop trying to get to the bottom of the issue and the problem with this, that's where I would go.
Oh, no, you definitely have to pull up the people who are responsible for making it, not just the person who signed the contract, but the people who executed the contract.
But I just love that there's all these hearings going on about this.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Oh.
I was just smiling at you.
But no, there's all these hearings going on. Tell us why you haven't gotten this done. Tell us, I'm spending too much time on a hearing. Yeah. Can I fix the problem right now? I mean, we're kind of in a crisis on this website. Can I focus on that?
That's just the Republicans' favorite thing to do, and they're not shutting down the government. They love to tie up everybody's times with hearings. Thanks, Alyssa. Whoa, yeah, that was my zing.
Poor Joe. He's
being
so nice.
But
I'm not really trying to say it's
a
Republican
why
thing. This is a government, how governments
it's
run
a government
kind of
thing.
But he's not fighting back because he knows it's true.
I don't. Healthcare is my least favorite policy area because there's no answers, and I think we avoid the real answers, the real discussion of what it is.
I think a public option is a real discussion.
What we really need to talk about, a huge amount of our healthcare dollars go towards end of life care, and I think we need to have a come to Jesus about what it means to live and die and our own mortality. Like
are you a Republican suggesting death panels?
Exactly. That is something we need to talk
about.
Not
death panels. I think it has to be, but that has to be a cultural change. That has to be a social change. People have to not want to prolong their.
But no one wants to talk about it. The right doesn't want to talk about it because religion, and the left doesn't want to talk about it for being perceived as racist.
Interesting.
Or classist.
Interesting.
No one wants to talk about it. But that's the real issue.
But it is an issue. It is
all
an
these
issue.
other window dressing we're talking about with healthcare is sort of a waste of time.
Wow. And I know we have to end this show, and you just basically said the most controversial thing we've heard all week. And I'd love to have
it towards the end.
I know. And I want to have a conversation about this. It has nothing to do with cannabis whatsoever, but maybe it does.
I think Joe needs to be a guest on once a month.
I kind of think that we should have
Republican talk with Joe Megyesy.
Crazy talk with Joe Megyesy.
Yeah, right.
No, it's not crazy though. I agree, Joe. I think what you're going on a limb basically saying something that is a dangerous subject. I think a very dangerous subject that should be talked about is population control.
Hey, Democrat. There's a lot of liberals though who are in favor of handing out free birth control to people, which would be a huge population control factor. And B, I think there's a lot of liberals who have always been in favor of assisted suicide. Especially for I'm not saying I'm saying when you're terminally ill,
when you basically want to euthanize yourself. Yes, I'm fine with that.
But when people are terminally ill, so I want to say medically assisted. Joe, it's another end of life care. When people are being dragged out through death from terminal cancer or whatever other terminal disease they have.
No, that's where the cannabis comes in, because I think that we are talking about being on the cusp of being able to cure cancer on a much different level,
or just die slowly, feeling really good.
Well, then, at least you have quality of life through your final days. I mean, I think that's the thing is when it's painful and it's awful and experience. I would,
machines
and
everything. That's terrible.
It's terrible.
I don't think no one envisions
especially
life
if you know. I know, especially if you know it's okay, this is just the last end of a crappy the last part of my ride on this earth is going to be the worst part of it. I mean, that's not something you want to enjoy. That's not something you want to go through. But, if you want to fight it, I think you should be allowed to fight it, though. I don't think it should be something that's forced on anybody.
No. When Joe and I we're going out Thelma and Louise style.
Yep, right off the cliff.
Right off the cliff. But see, what if somebody's
He just won't know about it. It'll be a surprise.
He'll be asleep. He's like, I just tested HY10. I got passed out. Next thing you know, I woke up in the air off the cliff. What the hell?
I'll be in my Torcacorn costume.
Oh my god!
All right, well, we got to wrap this baby up, and it's a bummer that we only had you on for half an hour, especially since I didn't shut up the whole time, Joe. So we should have you come back on again.
That'd be great.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
We need to do a wrap up on the Hemp Connoisseur Championship party that we're having this Saturday. Again, if you're in Colorado, you need to come check out this party. You're going to see who wins. Open bar party, have a good time.
November
2nd, Saturday, November 2nd, 2 days from
at Castleman's.
At Castleman's.
At Castleman's. That's
Castleman's
on
spelled CASSELMANS, not
and
like
Walnut.
Castle like a King's Castle. Right.
28th and Walnut?
26th and Walnut.
26th and Walnut, whatever.
Yeah.
You'll probably have to park at 28th and Walnut.
Yeah.
See what I did? See what I did there? I saved you parking time.
Yeah. But we're going to do the
You're
awards
welcome.
announcement somewhere around 8:30, 9 o'clock. The rest of the night's going to be a party. But so if you miss the announcements, we will have them posted.
Who's burping?
No.
Sam. Inappropriate.
We'll have them posted on the TVs, and we'll have we'll make sure that everybody knows if you came in late who won what. So just come out and have a good time. And
I'm
celebrate.
excited.
We're also celebrating our 2-year anniversary as a magazine.
I'm wearing my twerker
So it's
corn
kinda-
costume.
And we'll also have the results of the election to discuss.
That's right.
It's on Tuesday, so we'll know what sort
yes.
of taxing structure.
Wait a minute,
What do
the
you think,
election's
Joe?
on the 5th, isn't it?
Yeah, which is Tuesday.
No, we're having
So
the
next
party
show,
on
but I'm
Saturday.
saying on the
the
next
next
show.
show.
On the
Yes.
next show.
Y'all
Next
can
show, we will be
discuss-
talking about the AA
You should
people and
come
how
on.
they,
Can you come?
Sure.
All right, done.
Is it? Who do you think? Do you think we're going to have a happy party or a sad party?
I don't know. We'll see.
What do you think, Joe?
I mean, our polling is pretty steady in favor of Proposition A, 65% in favor. Like David said.
It's not even gonna. It's not even a joke. It's just gonna happen.
I don't know. I kind of worry about the Bradley effect.
The Bradley effect.
We'll see.
What's the Bradley
I'll
effect?
talk to you about it later.
Okay.
Google it, kids.
All right.
That's
the
your homework
Bradley-
assignment.
Google the Bradley effect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see y'all on Saturday at Castleman's 26th and Walnut this Saturday.
Yes, see you there.
There's going to be a dab bus. We're going to have a food truck serving some Jamaican
dab
food
bus.
on the front. I know, shake your head on it, but some people are going to want the dab bus.
Oh, I'm just thinking that's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, you basically free dabs and free alcohol. Heck yeah, that's
That
ridiculous.
sounds fun to me.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Definitely safe.
You don't need anything else for a good party, but
No, except me.
except Sam.
Yes.
Except Sam twerking her butt off. All right, until next time. Peace, love.
And hempiness.